In this video, we are going to build the skeleton and decoration of the profile page. This page is going to allow the user to change their details, including the username, email address, and password. So first, we're going to create a heading and then a table where we're going to place all these elements. And then each of these elements is going to be linked to a module, which contains a form where the user will be able to input their details and then click on the submit button to send the details to a PHP file using Ajax. Okay, so first of all, we're going to need to create a new file. And we're going to call it profile.php. Okay. And then let's open the file using brackets. And let's import the content from the main page. Like this. Okay, so let's change the title of the page to profile. Okay. And then let's go inside the container content and create this heading and table. Okay. So here we are. So let's delete the content that we have. Okay. And let's create the heading first. Okay. And then let's create a table. Okay. So we want a responsive table. So we're going to place it inside a table responsive div or div of class table responsive, as we have done previously in the Bootstrap chapter. Okay. And then we'll place the table inside. So we're going to have 3 rows, okay, and each row is going to have 2 table data. Okay. Okay, so the first row is going to have username and then the value of the username. Okay. And then the second one is going to have email and then the value. And then the third one is going to be password. And for this one is going to be hidden. We're not going to be showing the password. Okay. So let's save and go to the profile page. Okay, so we've got our table there. So we're going to need to add a few classes to the table, okay, using Bootstrap to decorate it. So let's add the basic class, which is table. Okay, so we can already see some borders there. Okay, and now let's add another one, table hover. Now you're going to see some hovering effects. Okay, also let's add table condensed to reduce padding. Okay. And also let's add table bordered. Okay, so that we can see borders inside the table. Just like that. All right. Okay, let's have a look at the final page. Okay, so we might want to reduce slightly the margin top of the container for this page. Let's go for 100 pixels. Okay, so that looks fine. All right. Now we'll need to link each of the table rows to a modal, just like this. Okay, so we're going to go to each of these table rows and we're going to add a couple of data attributes. So the first one is going to be the data target, as we've done earlier in the home page. Okay, so the data target is going to be the ID of the modal with a number sign. So the first modal is going to be update username, and we need a data toggle that we'll set to modal. Okay, and let's do the same thing to the other table rows. So this one is going to be update email, and the final one is going to be update password. Okay. Now to make it easy, we're going to go to each of these modals that we copied and we're going to amend them to match the final ones. Okay, so for the username, we're going to have, instead of login form, okay, we're going to have update username for the comment, and the ID of the form is going to be update username form. Okay, and the ID of the modal is going to be the same as in the table row, which is update username. Okay, so let's save and refresh the page to see what we get. Okay, so let's make some changes. So the title we want there is going to be edit username instead of login. Okay, and we're going to have one input, which is username. So let's change the hidden label to username. Okay, and the type to text, because it's a text input. The name of the input is going to be username, ID username. Okay, we don't need a placeholder in this case because we're going to have a value for the username which is retrieved from the database. Okay, so the maximum length for a username is 30, if you remember. That's the value we used in the sign up form in the home page. And we're going to need a value attribute. Okay, and for now I'm just going to set it to username value. Okay, and then later on when you write PHP code, we'll retrieve this value from the database. Okay, so we don't need the second input. Okay, we don't need the remember me checkbox. Okay. And in the footer, we only need two buttons, submit and cancel. So So the login button is going to become a submit button, and so we're going to change the value to submit. The type is still submit, and the name of the input is going to be update username. Okay, so let's save, refresh. Okay, you can see that the label is not hidden in the final page. Okay, so we're just going to need to delete the SR only class, okay, from the label, so that it shows up. So let's refresh now, and here we go. That looks fine now. Okay, now let's move to the other two models. So if we have a look, they look similar to the first one, okay, with an extra 2 inputs in the last one. So to save time, we're gonna copy the first one, okay, so let's just delete the other two models. Okay, so this one is going to be update email, and then this one is going to be update password. Okay, so for the email, we're going to change the form ID to update email form. Okay, the ID of the model to update email, and then the title is going to be enter new email. The label is going to be email. Okay, and then the input name is going to be email. The type is email. The ID is email as well. The maximum length, if you remember, it was 50. And here we're going to write later on some PHP code to get the value of the email. Okay. And the footer is fine. So let's save and refresh. Okay, that looks okay. Okay. Now let's move to the password. So the form ID is going to be update password form. The model ID is going to be update password. Okay. The title is going to be enter current and new password. Okay, so you might be asking why we're not asking for the current email to update the email. Well, when we're going to write some PHP code, we're going to take care of that. So you don't have to worry about that for now. Okay. So you've got the title there, and now we've got 3 inputs. Okay. And all of them, they are password inputs. So let's start with the first input. So we're going to have label for current password. Okay. And that's going to be your Karen's password. And then the input is of type password. The name is Karen password, ID Karen password. The maximum length is 30, and we're not going to have a value here. Okay. We're going to have a placeholder, which is going to be your Karen password. And also the label in this case is hidden. Okay, so we're going to add the SR only class to our label. Okay. Okay, so let's check the first inputs and see. Okay, it looks fine. So let's copy this one and create the other two password inputs. So the second one is going to be for a new password. Okay. So let's go for a label for password. Okay. And the label is going to be choose a password, which is hidden. Okay, and then the type is password, the name is password, ID is password, and the placeholder is going to be the same as the label, which is choose a password. Okay, and then the third one is going to be the confirm password input. Okay, and now we're going to have, instead of password, we're going to have password 2. And then we're going to have confirm password. Type is password. The name is going to be password 2, ID password 2, and the placeholder is going to be confirm password. Okay. So let's save and refresh, make sure that everything is working. Okay. So we've got our inputs there. Okay, fine. Now let's just add a bit of styling. So you will notice that when we hover on the table, the cursor is a pointer, okay, which we haven't done yet. So to do this, we're just going to go back to our style component, and we're going to select the table rows, okay, and we're just going to set the cursor attributes to a pointer. Okay, so let's save and refresh, and now it looks better. Okay. Now our profile page structure is ready. So now let's just go back quickly to the main page and delete all the modals that we left there because we don't need them. Okay. Now let's save. Let's make sure that everything is still working. Okay. All right. In the next video, we're going to start learning the logic of the app.